My name is Iris Archer, and I am 33 years old. 2 weeks ago, my mother rang my doorbell for the first time in 9 years. She stood on my porch wearing a beige cardigan, holding a carry-on suitcase and a folded piece of paper. The paper was not an apology. It was a list, handwritten in blue ink, organized with bullet points. Every bullet had a dollar amount beside it. Total, $925,000. She did not say she was sorry. She did not ask about her grandchildren. She simply said, "We need to talk about the family's future." But what my mother did not know was that I had been keeping a list of my own for 9 years. Every birthday card she returned, every voicemail she ignored, every message my sister sent about me behind my back. 29 items, all labeled, all dated, all stored in a navy blue binder at the bottom of my desk drawer. She arrived with a list of what she wanted. I had a list of what she had done. Before we continue, if you are new here, take a second to like and subscribe. It truly helps the channel more than you know. And while you are here, leave a comment telling me where you are watching from and what time it is in your area. I always enjoy reading those. Let me take you back to the summer I turned 24. The summer, my family decided I was no longer one of them. Millfield, Ohio. Population, a little over 2,000. One Baptist church, one barbershop, one diner where every booth smelled like coffee and bacon grease, no matter the hour. That was my hometown. My entire world until I turned 18. My father, Kenneth, worked at the lumber yard on Route 7 for 31 years. Same shift, same boots, same quiet nod every evening when he walked through the door at exactly 5:42. My mother, Diane, managed the household and the church women's committee with the same level of control. She organized Easter brunches. She coordinated the prayer chain. She decided who brought what to every church potluck, and nobody questioned her decisions. My younger sister, Paige, was 4 years younger than me and completely different. Loud, outgoing, confident, the type of girl who became homecoming queen and acted surprised about it. Mom adored her. Dad called her sunshine. I was the quiet one. The girl who washed dishes without being asked, scored perfectly on math exams, and never received a celebration for either achievement. I do not say that with bitterness. I say it because you need to understand the equation. In our family, love worked like a budget, and Paige was always the first expense approved. When I was 18, I earned a full scholarship to Ohio State. I became the first Archer to attend college. Mom packed my suitcase and slipped a card inside. It had flowers on the front and her handwriting on the back. "Come home soon. You belong here." I kept that card for 15 years. It still sits in my desk drawer beside the navy binder. That card was the last kind thing she ever wrote to me. I met Marcus Ellison during an advanced statistics class in the spring semester of my junior year. He sat 2 rows ahead of me and solved regression equations like he was reading grocery prices. Calm, precise, never rushed. He was majoring in engineering with a minor in computer science, attending on a partial scholarship from Cleveland. His mother, Cora, was a retired school librarian. His father, who was white and came from the suburbs, left when Marcus was 4 years old. Cora raised him alone. She worked 2 jobs until Marcus turned 16. After that, she worked 1 job and volunteered at 3 others. Marcus was biracial. He had his mother's eyes, his father's jawline, and a way of listening that made every conversation feel important. Our first date was at a taco truck near campus. He paid with wrinkled dollar bills. I paid with quarters. We split a horchata and talked until the truck closed for the night. He told me he wanted to build something meaningful. He did not know exactly what yet, but he wanted it to solve a real problem. I told him I wanted work where the numbers actually mattered. He smiled and said, "Then we picked the right field." We dated for 3 years before he proposed. 3 steady, simple, unremarkable years. He met my parents twice. The first time, Mom smiled too hard and called him Michael instead of Marcus. The second time, she used the correct name but never looked directly at him while saying it. Both times, Dad shook his hand and barely spoke. I convinced myself it was nervousness, small-town discomfort. I believed they only needed time. Paige was the honest one. At Thanksgiving, she leaned close and whispered, "He's nice, but Mom is never going to accept this. You know that, right?" At the time, I did not know. Not yet. Marcus proposed on a Tuesday evening. There was no ring at first, just a conversation at our small kitchen table near campus. He said, "I want to spend my life with you. I want to build something with you. Will you let me?" I answered yes before he finished speaking. That same night, I called home. Mom answered on the third ring. I told her the news. The line went silent for 7 seconds. I counted every one. Then she said, "You need to think about what this means for this family, Iris." Not congratulations, not happiness, a warning. Dad picked up on the extension line, cleared his throat twice, and said nothing. 2 days later, Paige sent a text. "Mom has been crying since you called. Are you happy now?" The truth was, for the first time in years, I actually was, but I did not reply with that. 2 weeks later, a handwritten letter arrived. Cream-colored stationery, Diane Archer's cursive, 4 paragraphs. The final paragraph read, "If you go through with this, you are choosing him over your family. We cannot support this. We will not attend. And if you walk down that aisle, do not expect to walk back through our door. He is not one of us, Iris. He never will be." That was the line she drew. Blue ink on cream paper. And she expected me to stay on her side of it. I read the letter 3 times, folded it carefully, and placed it into a manila folder. I did not know why I kept it. But some part of me, the same part that organized receipts and labeled bank statements, told me not to throw it away. So I kept it. We got married at the Multnomah County Courthouse on a Saturday in June. 12 guests, all friends, all from Marcus's side. Cora flew in from Cleveland carrying a garment bag and a container of pound cake. She pinned a silk flower onto my dress, held both my hands and said, "Welcome to the family, baby." No father walked me down the aisle. There was no aisle, just fluorescent hallway lights, a judge who pronounced our names incorrectly, and a reception at a Thai restaurant where 4 tables were pushed together while Marcus's college roommate gave a speech so funny, Cora spilled her water laughing. My dress cost $160 from a consignment store on Hawthorne. Simple, white, perfect fit. Marcus wore a navy suit he found on clearance. We looked exactly like 2 people who had just done the most important thing in their lives while staying within budget. Because we had. That night, I sat on the edge of our bed staring at my bouquet, $6 grocery store roses, while my hands shook. Not from doubt, from grief. I had just gotten married, and the 2 people who raised me did not care enough to witness it. 1 week later, I mailed a card to Millfield. Inside was our wedding photo, Marcus and me smiling on the courthouse steps. I wrote, "We are happy. I hope someday you can be happy for us too." The card came back 11 days later, stamped in red, returned to sender. I stared at that stamp for a long time. Then I opened the manila folder, placed the card inside, and wrote in red pen, "Item 2, wedding photo returned." That was the beginning of the binder. Year 1 was the hardest. I called Mom 4 times. Every call went to voicemail. I left careful messages, choosing every word like it might be the last thing she ever heard from me. "Hi, Mom. Just checking in. We're doing well. Marcus got a job at a software company downtown. I'm studying for the CPA exam. I miss you. Call me whenever you're ready." She never called back. I mailed birthday cards for Mom and Dad. A Christmas card, too. All 3 came back with the same red stamp. Dad sent exactly 1 text in February. "Your mother needs time." 4 words. No follow-up. No second message. Those words sat in my phone like a voicemail I could never delete. That spring, Paige posted a family photo on Facebook. Mom, Dad, Paige, Paige's boyfriend, all smiling. Caption, "Sunday dinner with my people." I was not in the picture. I had not been invited. I printed the screenshot, not to hurt myself, but because I had started doing something I could not fully explain. Keeping records. Every returned card, every missed call, every piece of proof showing that my family had decided I no longer existed. I placed them all into the folder. By March, the folder had become thick enough that I moved everything into a proper binder. Navy blue, 3 rings, dividers. The words, "He is not one of us," echoed in my mind during strange moments. Grocery stores, dentist offices, sleepless nights while Marcus slept beside me. I wanted the words to stop hurting. They never completely stopped, but eventually they became quieter. The binder became thicker. By year 2, Marcus quit his job. Not impulsively. He had a plan. For 6 months, he had spent nights and weekends building a prototype, a compliance platform for small businesses. software designed to simplify SEC filings and financial audits for companies too small to afford legal teams. Marcus understood compliance. I understood finance. Together, we understood a problem nobody else wanted to solve, making regulatory paperwork manageable for businesses with fewer than 50 employees. He set up a workspace in our garage, 2 monitors, a space heater, and a whiteboard he bought from Goodwill for $12. Every evening after my analyst job, I heated leftover soup and sat beside him reviewing financial models until midnight. I designed the pricing structure. I wrote compliance checklists. I tested modules against real SEC guidelines. Marcus built the engine. I built the dashboard. Neither of us slept enough. Compliance Core launched 7 months later with 4 customers and a free trial that crashed twice on opening day. That same year, I upgraded the binder. The manila folder was overflowing with return cards, voicemail transcripts, screenshots, and the original ultimatum letter. I bought a real binder, navy blue, 3-ring dividers for every year, red pen labels on every item. Tab 1, Year 1, 7 items. I was not building a legal case. I was not planning revenge. I was doing what I had always done, keeping records, because financial analysts do not throw away documentation, ever. But I did start numbering the items, and I did start writing dates on every page, because numbers do not lie, and neither would I. Liam and Sophie arrived on a Wednesday morning in November, 6 pounds each, matching dark curls. Sophie screamed for 4 straight hours. Liam slept through all of it. Marcus cried. I had never seen him cry before. He stood beside the hospital window holding Sophie in one arm and Liam in the other and whispered, "They're going to know they're loved every single day." Cora flew in the next morning and stayed for 2 weeks. She cooked, she cleaned, she rocked Liam at 3 in the morning while I fed Sophie. She brought a yellow and white crocheted blanket, soft enough to make anyone emotional, and silver bracelets engraved with the twins' birthdays. That was what a grandmother looked like. 5 months earlier, I had mailed Diane ultrasound photos. Returned. I mailed birth announcements. Returned. I mailed baby photos. Liam sleeping on Marcus's chest, Sophie gripping my finger. Returned. 3 more items added to the binder. Items 13, 14, and 15. Then a mutual friend from high school sent me a screenshot of a text Paige had written. It said, "Her children don't have real grandparents. That's what she chose." I sat in the nursery holding Liam while staring at that message for 11 minutes. Sophie slept quietly in her crib. In the kitchen, Cora hummed softly while washing bottles. My children did have a grandmother. Her name was Cora Ellison. She flew from Cleveland every 6 weeks and never missed a birthday. I printed Paige's message and filed it. Item 16, red pen, dated. By year 4, the binder contained 19 items. And I want to make something clear. I did not keep that binder out of anger. I did not sit awake reading it and imagining confrontation. Most weeks, I forgot it even existed. It stayed in the bottom drawer of my desk behind tax folders and insurance papers, collecting dust. But whenever something arrived, a returned card, a screenshot, a voicemail transcript, I filed it. Same routine every time. Print, label, date, red pen, tab. Marcus asked me once, "Why do you keep all of it?" I told him the truth. Because someday the kids may ask why they don't have grandparents on my side, and I want them to have facts. Not my version, not her version, just the receipts. He nodded. Engineers understand documentation too. By then, Compliance Core had 11 employees. We moved out of the garage and into a real office in Portland's Pearl District. Marcus worked 60 hours every week. I worked 40 at my firm and another 20 handling Compliance Core's finances. We hired a part-time nanny for the twins, and every night at 6:30, we ate dinner together, non-negotiable. The silence from Ohio had become part of life, like weather. Some days I noticed it. Most days I did not. Cora visited every 6 weeks. The twins called her Grammy. She taught Liam how to make grilled cheese sandwiches. She taught Sophie the names of birds in the backyard. I did not know it then, but that binder would become the most important document of my life. More important than my degree, more important than our marriage certificate, more important than the IPO filing I would sign 5 years later. Year 5 brought growth. 15 employees, a real office, a conference room with a whiteboard that did not come from Goodwill. Compliance Core was expanding steadily, not flashy growth, not headline growth, Just reliable progress that paid salaries and kept lights on. Marcus still coded every day. He refused to become the kind of CEO who stopped building. Most mornings he arrived at the office by 6:30 wearing headphones, focused on software architecture I barely understood. I handled everything else. Cash flow, vendor contracts, quarterly forecasts. The company was his vision. The numbers were mine. That year, we bought our first house. A craftsman bungalow in Portland's Sellwood neighborhood. 3 bedrooms, hardwood floors, a backyard with a plum tree the twins claimed as their fort. I remember signing the mortgage paperwork and thinking, this belongs to us. Nobody handed this to us. We built it. Liam started kindergarten. Sophie started kindergarten too. They rode the same bus, sat in the same row, and argued daily over the window seat. Normal. Beautifully normal. Painfully normal. One Tuesday night in October, I made the mistake of opening Facebook. Diane had posted a family photo from what looked like an early Thanksgiving dinner. New dining table, Paige and her husband, a baby in a high chair, my nephew whom I had never met. Caption, my whole world. 3 adults and a baby. A family that did not include me, my children, or my husband. I closed the app and went to bed. I did not cry. Somewhere around year 3, I had stopped crying over Diane Archer. Some wounds do not heal. They simply go numb. Paige got married in year 6. I learned about it through Instagram. The photos were beautiful. White church, the same Baptist church where I was baptized at 12 years old. 200 guests. Paige in a cathedral-length veil. Mom wearing lavender. Dad in a new suit. The reception included a live band, a 5-tier cake, and a sparkler exit that looked like a movie scene. They did not invite me. They did not even tell me. I found out 4 days later when a friend from high school posted a group photo captioned, Best Wedding of the Year. I zoomed in. My parents stood in the second row smiling with their arms around each other. Dad looked thinner. Mom looked exactly the same. I stared at that photo for a long time. Not because I wanted their wedding. I already had my wedding. 12 people. Thai food, a $160 dress, and the best man I had ever known. I stared because they looked happy, and they looked happy without me. I did something I probably should not have done. I ordered handmade linen napkins from a small Portland shop, ivory-colored, monogrammed with Paige's new initials. I included a card. Congratulations on your wedding. I wish you and your husband every happiness. Love, Iris. 3 weeks later, the package came back unopened. The tape had never even been disturbed. Item 17, wedding gift returned. Red pen, dated. I placed the binder back in the drawer, closed it, and sat quietly listening to Sophie sing in the bath while Liam argued with Marcus about whether dinosaurs could swim. That was my family, in the next room, and they were enough. Year 7 changed everything. Compliance Corps secured its Series B funding round, $12 million from a venture capital firm in San Francisco. I remember the call clearly. Marcus was making pancakes for the twins when his phone rang. He listened, nodded, hung up, then looked at me and said, they said yes. Before the pancakes finished cooking, I had already done the math. $12 million in funding. Post-money valuation, $68 million. Marcus and I still owned 22%. We were not wealthy, not yet. But the numbers were moving toward a future I had only ever modeled inside spreadsheets. That same month, I left my analyst position and joined Compliance Corps full-time as CFO. For the first time, my name appeared beside Marcus's on official company paperwork. We were partners in every sense. We moved into a larger house near Lake Oswego, south of Portland. 4 bedrooms, excellent schools, a quiet neighborhood, a kitchen island where the twins completed homework while I reviewed quarterly reports nearby. The Series B funding received a small amount of press coverage. TechCrunch published a short article. A couple of fintech newsletters mentioned us. Nothing huge, just enough attention for industry people to notice. But someone in Millfield, Ohio noticed too. 2 weeks after the article, an old high school friend texted me, kind of random, but your mom asked about your husband's company at church on Sunday. She wanted to know what Series B meant. Thought you should know. I read that message 3 times. Mom had not spoken my name in 7 years. She did not understand what Series B meant, but suddenly she wanted to. The numbers were changing, and Diane Archer had started paying attention. That same year, I mailed what I knew would probably be my final birthday card. I had mailed one every year for 7 years. 7 returns, 7 red stamps, every single one filed and labeled. But this time, I added something extra. A photo of Liam and Sophie at their school's fall festival, matching flannel shirts, face paint, Liam missing his 2 front teeth. Sophie was smiling so hard her eyes were nearly closed. On the back of the photo, I wrote, "They ask about you sometimes. I tell them you live far away." I sealed the envelope, mailed it, and expected the usual red return stamp within 11 days. Instead, it came back in 9. But something was different. The envelope had been opened, the flap was bent, and the glue had been sealed again with a strip of clear tape. I held it under the kitchen light for a long moment. The card was still inside. The photo was still there too. But someone had removed them, looked at them carefully, then placed them back before returning the envelope. I sat at the kitchen table, turning it over in my hands. Someone in that house, Dad, I was almost sure, had looked at his grandchildren's faces and held that photo. And someone else, Mom, I was completely sure, had made him send it back. He wanted to keep it. She would not allow it. Item 23, birthday card opened and resealed, photo viewed, still returned. I wrote the label with a steadier hand than I expected, because deep down, I had understood something for years. Dad was not the architect of the silence. He was the enforcer. Mom designed the entire structure, and her message was simple. If she could not control who I loved, she would remove me from the family entirely. By year 8, Compliance Corps was growing faster than either Marcus or I expected. 80 employees, offices in Portland and Austin, partnerships with 2 of the largest accounting firms in the Pacific Northwest. That year, Marcus appeared on the cover of a regional business magazine. Small circulation, local reach. Still, his face was on a glossy cover beneath the headline, "The Quiet Disruptor." Around that time, I noticed unusual activity on LinkedIn. Someone from Millfield, Ohio viewed my profile 3 times in a single week. No visible name. Private browsing account. But the location was obvious. Millfield, Ohio. Then Forbes released its annual Companies to Watch list. Compliance Corps ranked number 47 out of 50. It was only a brief mention, 2 sentences, but it was still Forbes. I did not think much about the LinkedIn views until a few weeks later when Marcus appeared on a fintech podcast. The interview lasted 45 minutes and focused mostly on technical topics, compliance automation, API integrations, federal reporting standards, not exactly viral content. But 3 days after the episode aired, my old friend from Ohio texted me again. "Your mom told Linda at church that she always knew Marcus was smart." Direct quote. Linda said Diane sounded proud. First time she's mentioned your name in years. Always knew Marcus was smart. 7 years of silence, and suddenly she always knew. I did not add that message to the binder because it was not evidence, just hearsay. But I wrote it on a sticky note and attached it to the inside cover because I wanted to remember the exact moment Diane Archer began rewriting history. She was not proud of Marcus. She was recalculating. The numbers were growing larger, and my mother had always been an accountant in her own way. The group chat screenshots arrived on a Monday evening. Tess, my friend from Ohio who kept me informed about church gossip, called me around 7. She sounded unsettled. Iris, Paige accidentally added me to a family group chat. I think she meant to add someone else with a similar number. I stayed in the chat for 3 days before they realized the mistake and removed me. I took screenshots. She sent 7 screenshots. 3 full days of unfiltered Archer family conversations. I read them while sitting in the parking lot during Liam's soccer practice. Paige. His company was valued at $68 million last round. I've been tracking the funding filings. If they IPO, we're looking at $300 million minimum. How do we approach this? She won't listen to me. Maybe I should call first, feel her out. No, I need to go in person with a plan. A real plan. Make a list. Be specific about what we need. She's a numbers person, she'll respond to numbers. How much should we ask for? Start with the mortgage, then medical bills, retirement, college for my son, monthly support. Layer it. Make it sound like family investment, not a request. Kenneth, this doesn't feel right. Kenneth, she has more money than this entire town. She can afford to help her family. Kenneth never replied after that. I sat in the car with the engine turned off. The dashboard clock read 7:22. Through the windshield, I could see Liam running across the field, chasing a soccer ball almost bigger than his head. My hands were shaking. Not from sadness, from clarity. 9 years of silence. 9 years of returned birthday cards, ignored grandchildren, and a cream-colored letter telling me never to return home. And now that the financial numbers had changed, they wanted to approach me with a strategy. I drove home, printed the screenshots, and filed them. Item 26, family group chat. Financial tracking confirmed. Reconnaissance confirmed. If this story feels familiar to you, if someone cut you off and only came back once the numbers changed, leave a comment below. I think more people carry experiences like this than they admit. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. That night, after the kids went to sleep, I showed Marcus the screenshots. He read every line carefully, the same way he reviewed code, searching for flaws. When he finished, he placed the phone on the counter and stared at the wall quietly. Then he asked, "What do you want to do?" "Nothing yet," I answered, "but I want to be prepared." He nodded. That was Marcus. He never told me what to feel. He never pushed me toward confrontation or avoidance. He simply asked what I wanted and stood beside me while I figured it out. The next morning, I called a family attorney, not to sue anyone, not to file paperwork. I simply wanted to understand our position if Diane suddenly appeared. Could she claim anything legally? Could she attempt to access our assets or the children? The attorney's name was Grace. Mid-50s, direct, practical, no wasted words. In 20 minutes, she explained everything clearly. No, Diane had no legal standing. The trusts protecting the children's assets were secure. Oregon did not recognize grandparent visitation rights without an existing relationship, and 9 years of documented estrangement made any legal claim unrealistic. I thanked Grace, ended the call, and went to work. But later that week, I did something else. I drafted a letter. I never mailed it. I simply wrote it out by hand at the kitchen table after midnight. In that letter, I listed every item in the binder, every date, every returned card, every ignored call, every screenshot, 26 documented items, organized, dated, ready. Year 9 began with IPO discussions in January. Investment bankers flew into Portland. We held 3 rounds of meetings inside our conference room, the one that still had the whiteboard from Goodwill, even if nobody else knew it. They reviewed everything: financial statements, growth projections, customer retention rates. They used phrases like roadshow, pricing range, and lockup period. Marcus handled the product presentations. I handled the numbers, every slide, every projection, every risk disclosure. My name appeared on every filing: CFO, co-founder, the person approving every SEC document before it left the building. The process lasted 7 months. 7 months of legal reviews, due diligence, investor meetings, and almost no sleep. Marcus barely rested. I barely ate. The twins noticed. Liam asked why Dad kept speaking to his laptop during dinner. Sophie drew a picture of me sitting at my desk with a speech bubble that said, "One more email." In August, our attorney finalized the trust structures for Liam and Sophie. 2 irrevocable trusts. Protected. Secure. Nobody, not Diane, not Kenneth, not Paige, not any future Archer family member arriving with a list, could touch a single dollar. I signed the trust documents on a Tuesday afternoon in a corner office overlooking the Willamette River. The attorney asked whether I had any questions. I only had one. If a family member tries to claim access to these funds, what happens? Nothing, she replied. That's the point. I went home, cooked dinner, helped Sophie with long division homework, and placed the trust documents inside the fire safe beneath our bed. Then I noticed something unusual. For the first time in months, nobody from Millfield viewed my LinkedIn profile. No texts from Tess, no church gossip, no digital traces at all. Silence. The dangerous kind. 2 months before the IPO, Paige texted me, the first message in 9 years. It arrived at 2:17 on a Thursday afternoon. "Hey, just thinking about you. How are the kids?" 6 words, 9 years. And suddenly, how are the kids? As if she had been asking the entire time. As if this conversation had simply paused instead of dying. I did not respond for a week. I wanted to see whether she would follow up. She did. "I'm going to be in Portland for work next month. Would love to see you." Marcus said, "Your decision." I agreed to meet her. Not at our home. At a cafe in the Pearl District. Public place, neutral ground, limited time. Paige arrived 15 minutes late wearing a blazer and ankle boots. She looked like someone rehearsing how to appear relaxed. She hugged me too long. Within the first 10 minutes, she told me 3 separate times that I looked amazing. Then the questions began. How large was our house? Did the kids attend private school? What neighborhood did we live in? Was Marcus still running the company himself? How many employees did we have now? Had we raised additional funding recently? 32 questions, I counted, and not one of them was truly about me. I'm sorry. Halfway through our lattes, I noticed something reflected in the cafe window. Paige had angled her phone toward the parking lot. She was taking photos of my car, a white Tesla Model Y Marcus bought me for my birthday. She was gathering information, cataloging details, building a report. I let her finish her latte. I answered her questions politely but vaguely, the same way you answer small talk from a bank teller. When we hugged goodbye, she held on too long again. She ordered 1 latte and asked 32 questions. I counted. The only thing she never asked was the only thing that actually mattered. How are you? After the meeting, I drove home and opened the binder. Item 28, Paige reconnaissance visit. Date, red pen notes, 32 questions documented, vehicle photographed, no apology offered, no acknowledgement of past estrangement. Then I called Grace, the family attorney, for the second time. They're coming, I told her. My mother, probably before the IPO. She's going to arrive with demands. Grace asked what kind of demands. I explained the group chat screenshots, Paige's instructions to layer it, and make the request sound like family investment. Grace stayed quiet for a moment. You have documentation? I have a binder. How detailed? 28 items, 9 years, dated and sourced. Another pause. Then she said, Iris, you don't need me for this. You needed me for the legal structure, the trusts, the estate protections. That's already finished. She continued, what you're describing isn't a legal confrontation, it's a personal one. And for that, you only need to decide what you're willing to say. She was right. This was no longer about attorneys. It was about whether I would allow a woman who ignored me for 9 years to rewrite the story now that the numbers had changed. That night, I sat at my desk and reread the letter I had drafted months earlier, the one listing every item inside the binder. Then I placed it back in the drawer. I did not need the letter. I already had the binder itself. 28 items, 9 years, every return card, every ignored voicemail, every screenshot, every piece of proof that my family erased me, not because I had done something wrong, but because I loved someone they refused to accept. The binder spoke clearly on its own. Compliance Corps went public on a Wednesday in October. Marcus and I stood on the NASDAQ floor in New York, him in a charcoal suit, me in a navy blazer, and watched the stock open at $18 per share. By noon, it reached 20. By closing, 22. Market cap, $440 million. Marcus and I still owned 10%. On paper, our net worth became $44 million. The number did not feel real. It looked like a spreadsheet error. Too many zeros. Check the formula again, but the formula was correct. Checking formulas was literally my job. TechCrunch published a feature. Forbes requested comments. Bloomberg placed Marcus's photo in a sidebar article. A local Portland news station aired a 3-minute segment titled, Local Couples FinTech Startup Hits NASDAQ. They showed our company photo, 2 founders standing side by side, equal partners. That night, Marcus and I celebrated quietly with room service sushi in our hotel overlooking Times Square. Liam and Sophie were back in Portland with Cora, who had flown in for the week. Marcus fell asleep on the couch at 9:15, still wearing his suit jacket. I stayed awake, not because of the IPO, because I knew what would happen next. I checked my phone, 5 missed calls, area code 740, Millfield, Ohio, 3 calls from an unknown number, 1 from Kenneth, 1 from Diane. I did not return any of them. I placed the phone face down on the nightstand and stared at the ceiling. 9 years, $44 million. And suddenly, Iris Archer was worth contacting again. I fell asleep with my hand resting over the phone as though it might ring again. It did. Kenneth's voicemail arrived the next morning while I was brushing my teeth. His voice sounded thinner than I remembered, older. The rhythm was still the same, slow and careful, like a man measuring lumber before cutting it. But there was something cracked underneath it. Baby girl, I saw you on the news. You and Marcus on the stock exchange floor. I didn't know what to say, so I'm calling. I'm proud of you. I always have been. A long pause, breathing. Your mother wants to talk. She has things she wants to discuss. Please call her when you can. I love you, Iris. I listened to the voicemail 3 times. Baby girl, he had not called me that since I was 14. And I'm proud of you. 4 words I had waited nearly a decade to hear. But then I replayed it again and listened carefully to the structure. He called after the IPO, not after my wedding, not after the twins were born, not after the ultrasound photos, not after the birth announcements, not after 7 returned birthday cards. After the IPO. He was proud of me on paper. He had probably always been proud of me on paper. What he had never been was brave enough to call before millions were attached to the conversation. He is not one of us, Iris. He never will be. I heard Mom's voice in my head, but Dad had enforced the silence. He could have called any day during those 9 years. Instead, he chose the year with 44 million reasons to reconnect. I saved the voicemail. I did not add it to the binder. It felt too sad for the binder. Instead, I sat on the hotel bathroom floor and allowed myself to feel everything for about 4 minutes. Then I stood up and packed my suitcase. We had a flight home to catch. Diane's text arrived 2 days after we returned from New York. It was long, carefully written, no spelling mistakes, no abbreviations, no casual tone. This was a drafted statement. She had written it, revised it, probably rehearsed it aloud. Iris, I know we've lost time. I think about you and the children every day. Life is short, and I've learned that some things matter more than the differences that divide us. I would like to talk about the future, about the children, about what it means to be a family. There are things families should share. I believe we can find a way forward if you're willing. I read it twice, 63 carefully selected words, and not one of them said, I'm sorry. Not one sentence admitted she was wrong. Not one acknowledged that she had disowned me for marrying a man whose skin color she refused to accept. Not one mentioned the returned birthday cards, the ignored grandchildren, the years of deliberate silence. She called it differences that divide us, as if we had experienced a philosophical disagreement instead of a mother telling her daughter, he is not one of us. As if returning birthday cards unopened for 7 years was simply a misunderstanding. I did not reply. I screenshotted the message, printed it, and opened the binder. Item 29. First text from Diane in 9 years. 63 words. 0 apology. Red pen. Dated. I closed the binder and plaque into the bottom drawer. Then I looked at the framed photo beside my monitor. Marcus, the twins, me, all 4 of us at Cannon Beach squinting into the sunlight. Liam sitting on Marcus's shoulders, Sophie holding my hand. That picture was my answer. Tess called that Friday. Paige is telling everyone she visited you in Portland, she said. She's saying you live in a mansion. I leaned against the kitchen counter. That part isn't even true, I said, and the kids go to public school. Iris, that's not the point, Tess replied. Your mother is planning a trip. Paige told Linda at the salon Diane is flying to Portland next week. She's packing a suitcase. I closed my eyes. I know. How? Because Paige counted every room in that cafe and photographed my car. There was silence on the line. Then Tess asked quietly, What are you going to do? I'm going to open the door. She sounded surprised. You're letting her in? I'm letting her talk, I answered. Then I'm going to show her what I've been keeping in the bottom drawer of my desk for 9 years. After we hung up, I stood in my kitchen. The same kitchen where Sophie did homework at the island. Where Liam built Lego towers. Where Marcus made pancakes every Sunday morning. Cora's photo sat on the refrigerator beside the twins' field trip picture. Grammy Cora, the only grandmother my children had ever truly known. Diane was coming. I had known it since the Series B funding, since the LinkedIn profile views, since the church gossip, since Paige's 32 questions in the cafe. The numbers had changed, and Diane Archer was arriving to collect. But I was no longer the 18-year-old girl leaving Millfield with a scholarship and a card that said, "Come home soon." I was a CFO, a mother, a woman with a binder, and I was prepared. The irony was impossible to ignore. In Millfield, news traveled through the Baptist church the way water moved through limestone, slowly, everywhere, impossible to stop. When I married Marcus, the Whisper Network spread the news within 48 hours. Diane Archer's daughter married someone who isn't like us. The women on the prayer chain whispered. The men at the diner shook their heads. and Diane used that pressure as a weapon. Part of the reason she disowned me was because she could not tolerate the gossip. Now the whispers had reversed direction. Tess heard it from Linda at the salon. Linda heard it from the church organist. Iris Archer's husband is on NASDAQ. Iris Archer is a CFO. Iris Archer is worth $44 million. And Diane Archer cut her off 9 years ago for marrying him. People were no longer whispering quietly. They were asking Diane directly, "You must be so proud. When did you last see the grandchildren? Are you going to Portland for the holidays?" And Diane had to smile through every question because telling the truth would destroy the image she had carefully built for years. The same town that once supported her silence was now asking her to explain it. She could not admit she cut off her daughter over racism and pride. And she could not pretend everything was normal without someone eventually asking, "Then where was Iris at Christmas?" The pressure had shifted, and Diane Archer, the woman who once controlled social pressure like a weapon, was now trapped by it herself. She arrived on a Tuesday at exactly 10:14 in the morning. I know the time because I was standing at the kitchen sink drying a mug when I saw the taxi pull up. She stepped out slowly, wearing a beige cardigan, black slacks, and the same pearl earrings she wore to church every Sunday when I was growing up. A small carry-on suitcase sat beside her. The corners looked worn. She stood on the sidewalk for 30 seconds before walking toward the house. I watched her study the property, the craftsman details, the porch swing, the raised garden beds Marcus planted that spring. She looked at everything like an appraiser evaluating value. Then the doorbell rang. I opened the door. We stood about 3 feet apart. She looked older, more gray in her hair, lines around her mouth that had not existed 9 years earlier, but her eyes were still the same shade of green as mine, already wet with tears. "Iris." "Mom." 4 seconds of silence. Then she said, "I came to talk about the children's future. Not, I missed you. Not, I was wrong. Not even, I love you." I came to talk about the children's future. The same children she had never met. The same children whose photos she returned unopened. The same children Paige claimed did not have real grandparents. I looked at the suitcase, then at the folded piece of paper in her hand. "Come in." I led her into the kitchen instead of the living room. The kitchen had good light. A table. The refrigerator covered with the twins' feet, artwork, and a photo of Cora holding Liam and Sophie at the beach while all three laughed. Truth lived in that kitchen, and truth was what we were about to discuss. She sat at the table. I poured 2 glasses of water. No coffee. Coffee is for guests who plan to stay. Her eyes paused on the photo of Cora with the twins. She stared at it for 5 full seconds. I could not tell whether the expression crossing her face was guilt or jealousy. Then she unfolded the paper. Blue ink, 5 bullet points. Carefully organized, the result of hours of planning. She read them aloud. "Retirement fund for your father and me, $500,000. I said nothing. "College fund for Paige's son Thomas, $200,000. Nothing. Medical expenses for your father's knee surgery, $45,000. Nothing. Mortgage payoff for the family home, $180,000. Nothing. Monthly support, $3,000. Then she folded the paper and placed it between us. "This is what families do, Iris. Your father worked his whole life. He sacrificed for you both. It's time to give back." I stared at the list. $925,000. Itemized, calculated, presented like an invoice. And during the entire conversation, she never once used the word sorry. Not once did she acknowledge she was sitting in a house she had never visited, asking for money connected to grandchildren she had never held. Her children don't have real grandparents. That's what she chose. Paige's words echoed in my head. I picked up the list, read each line again, folded it carefully, and stood. Then I walked into my office. The bottom drawer was exactly where I had left it, under tax folders, behind old insurance documents. I pulled out the binder, navy blue, 3-ring, heavy with 9 years of evidence. I carried it back to the kitchen and placed it beside her folded list. 2 documents. Hers, 1 page, 5 bullet points, $925,000. Mine, 29 items, 9 years, 0 apologies received. Diane stared at the binder. "What is that?" "You brought a list, Mom," I said calmly. "So did I." She looked at the thickness of it. Tabs, printed screenshots, returned envelopes, red pen labels visible through the plastic cover. I don't understand. You will. I opened the binder to tab 1, year 1, and I started reading. I did not raise my voice. I did not cry. I simply read the way I presented quarterly reports to a boardroom, fact by fact, date by date, 9 years of documentation, every returned card, every ignored voicemail, every screenshot, every piece of proof showing Diane Archer erased her oldest daughter because she married someone. Diane refused to accept. The binder was not revenge. It was not a weapon. It was a record. And records do not negotiate. They do not argue. They do not forgive. They simply tell the truth. And I had 9 years of truth sitting in front of her. Tab 1, year 1. I placed the first envelope on the table. White envelope, red stamp, returned to sender, still sealed. Item 1, birthday card, mailed September 12, 2017, returned September 23rd. Her eyes widened. I placed down the second envelope. Item 2, wedding photo, mailed June 14, 2017, returned June 25th. Then the third. Item 3, Christmas card, mailed December 8, 2017, returned December 21st. I laid them out slowly in chronological order, the way auditors lay out evidence. No emotion, no commentary, just records. Diane stared at the growing line of envelopes. Each one represented a door I tried to open, and she slammed shut. These are the birthday cards I sent every year for 9 years, I said. Every single one came back. Iris, I'm not finished. I opened tab 2, year 2. 3 more items. A voicemail transcript, an unanswered call log, a screenshot of Diane's My Whole World Facebook post that excluded me, Marcus, and the twins. Item 4, voicemail to you, January 7th, 2018, 47 seconds, no return call. Diane pressed her fingers to her mouth, her eyes filled with tears. Item 5, text from Dad, February 12th, 2018, 4 words, your mother needs time. I placed the printed text on the table. It's been 9 years, Mom. How much time did you need? The tears came immediately. I expected them. Diane covered her face and cried the same controlled cry I remembered from childhood, emotional enough to invite sympathy, restrained enough to protect pride. I was hurt, Iris. You chose him over us. You left. I didn't leave, I replied calmly. You told me not to come back. That's not. I was upset. People say things when they're upset. I opened tab 4, year 4. Item 16, a screenshot of Paige's forwarded text, March 9th, 2021. I read it aloud slowly. Her children don't have real grandparents. That's what she chose. Diane flinched. Paige didn't mean. That's the exact text. Then I opened the final tab, the group chat screenshots, 7 pages. Item 26, Archer Family Group Chat, October 4th, 2025. I read Paige's message, make a list. Be specific about what we need. She's a numbers person. She'll respond to numbers. Then Diane's. She has more money than this entire town. She can afford to help her family. Something changed in Diane's face. The tears stopped. Something harder replaced them. Anger. You had no right to read that. I met her eyes calmly. And you had no right to return photos of my children. The kitchen went quiet. Then I reached for one specific envelope. Item 23. The opened birthday card. The flap still creased. The tape still visible. Inside this envelope was a photo of Liam and Sophie at their school fall festival, I said. On the back, I wrote, they ask about you sometimes. I tell them you live far away. I placed it in front of her. This envelope was opened. Someone looked at their faces, then sealed it back up and returned it. Her jaw tightened. Who opened it, Mom? Silence. Dad opened it. He wanted to keep it, and you made him send it back. Her hands flattened against the table. Her eyes stayed fixed on the tape. Then quietly, almost too quietly to hear, she whispered, I was afraid. I waited. If I let him keep it, if I let any of it in, I would have had to admit I was wrong. That I lost 9 years for nothing. That I pushed away my grandchildren because I was too proud. She stopped speaking. And for one brief second, I saw something real. Not manipulation, not performance. Fear. The kind buried beneath anger for so long it forgets how to exist any other way. Then it disappeared. Her posture straightened. But you left us, Iris. You made your choice. The honesty vanished as quickly as it appeared. I placed her demand list on the left side of the table, the binder on the right. Your list, I said. $925,000, 5 bullet points. No apology. Then I touched the binder. My list: 29 items, 9 years of silence, 9 years of returned birthday cards and ignored grandchildren because I married the wrong man. Her nostrils flared. I did not erase you. You told the church I abandoned you. You told Paige to tell people my children didn't have real grandparents. You tracked Marcus's company for months and arrived with an invoice. I closed the binder. The rings clicked shut. You didn't come because you missed me. You came because the numbers changed. She stood quickly, chair scraping against the tile. After everything we did for you growing up, food, clothes, school supplies, this is how you repay us? You raised me, I answered. That is not a debt. That's what parents are supposed to do. We gave you everything. You gave me a card that said, "Come home soon," and later told me never to come back. She had no answer. I could see her searching for guilt, leverage, anything that still worked. Nothing did. You said Marcus was not one of us, I continued. But for 9 years, his mother was the only grandmother my children had. The sentence hung in the kitchen. She heard it. I watched it land. Then the garage door opened. Marcus walked in through the laundry room carrying his laptop bag and keys. He saw Diane, the binder. Me. He said nothing. He placed his bag on the counter, walked beside me, rested one hand on my shoulder, and sat down. That was all. No dramatic speech, no confrontation, just a husband sitting beside his wife because she needed him there. Diane looked at Marcus, the man she rejected 9 years earlier. Flannel shirt, running shoes, a watch cheaper than her pearl earrings. Nothing flashy, nothing announcing wealth, just a good man, a husband, a father, and he said everything without opening his mouth. Diane stared at his hand resting on my shoulder, at the quiet space between us that needed no performance, and she understood. I did not need the Archer family anymore. I had already built my own. I spoke calmly, the same way you present final numbers on a balance sheet. Clear, complete, final. Mom, I'm not giving you money. She opened her mouth, but I continued. Not because I can't afford it. Because the moment I hand you a check, you'll convince yourself you were right to stay away until it became profitable to return. I picked up her list. You'll call this family support. You'll pretend 9 years were just a misunderstanding. I shook my head. They weren't a misunderstanding. They were a choice. Your choice. Every returned card, every ignored voicemail, every photo returned unopened. She did not take the paper from my hand. It hung there between us. If you truly want to know your grandchildren, I said quietly, not as part of a financial plan, then it starts with an apology. Not just to me, to them. And it doesn't start today. It starts when you're ready to mean it. Diane finally took the paper, picked up her suitcase, walked to the front door. She stopped once, turned slightly, opened her mouth, closed it again, then left. The door clicked shut behind her. Not slammed, clicked. The sound of someone leaving after realizing they lost something money could not repair. If someone only returned to your life after your success changed, I want to hear your story too. Leave it in the comments. And if this video reminded you that your worth is never measured by numbers, share it with someone who needs to hear that today. 2 weeks passed. Marcus and I barely discussed Diane. Not because we avoided it, there simply wasn't much left to say. She arrived with a list. I showed her a binder. She left without apologizing. The equation was complete. The twins never knew she visited. They were at school during both her arrival and departure. I preferred it that way. Someday they would understand that some people only see your value when the lighting changes. Kenneth called on a Tuesday morning at 9:14 while I was reviewing a vendor contract. Iris, he said quietly, your mother told me what happened. I waited. I should have opened the door for you 9 years ago. I should have picked up the phone. I should have driven to Portland when the twins were born. I should have done a lot of things. His voice cracked. I'm sorry. Not because of the money. I don't want your money. I want to know my grandchildren. I want to know whether you'll let me try. I stayed quiet for 17 seconds. I counted them. Finally, I said, I believe you, Dad, but belief and trust are different things. We start slowly. He agreed immediately. Phone calls every 2 weeks. No visits yet. No money. Just conversations. That's more than I deserve, he said. No, I answered. It's exactly what you deserve. Not more, not less. We ended the call. I returned to reviewing my contract. Paige texted once afterward. One sentence. You could have just helped. I never replied. Some messages answer themselves. Diane never called again, never texted, never wrote. The silence returned, but this time it belonged to her. I had already said everything I needed to say. The next move was hers. The binder remained in the bottom drawer. 29 items. 9 years. I never added a 30th. I hope I never need to. Here's what 9 years of silence taught me. Family is not defined by a last name. Family is not the people who appear after your net worth changes. Family is the people who stand beside you when your world is small, your garage is cold, and your babies need a grandmother. The people who fly from Cleveland every 6 weeks, who crochet blankets, who teach your son how to make grilled cheese sandwiches, that is family. And it was never really about money. It was about showing up. That's my story. 9 years, 29 items, 1 navy blue binder. If this story reminded you that your worth was never tied to numbers, share it with someone who needs that reminder today. Leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.